Okay, in this video we're going to look at reference planes and reference lines. So here we will go open our family, well, we'll go to a new family, and let's scroll down to our generic template, simple generic, and let open. Okay, any day now. Okay, we're in here. Now, move this over here. So when you open your generic file in most families, you'll have the two basic reference planes. So if I take one here, this is a reference plane and it has a name. It's called center front back, and this one will be called center left right. And then you'll see this pin here, and this defines the origin of your reference planes. And we want to always use this origin point and build our families out. So if you zoom out, you'll notice it stays there. And looking in the project browser, it has a front, a left, a right, and a reference plane. So if we go and look at the front, in this view, you have your reference plane here at the reference level. Now this reference level corresponds to what's going on in your Revit modeling environment. And then also, it doesn't have a name generally, but you can add a name here if you like. And if you go to left view, you'll see the same thing. Oops, what's going on? Yes, you'll see the same. So let's go back to the reference level. Now, back in the reference level now, what we have here, if we want to go create, and at the datum tab, we want to create a reference plane, we can go here and we can add another reference plane and add another one here. Now, what you'll notice and have to understand here is these reference planes, they don't have any names, but you can name them. You can call it, let's call this right. And it has the name right. Okay? And then another thing is we can give these reference planes equality. So when you add these reference planes, you double click here, and that means that these values will be equal regardless. So if I grab this reference plane and I decide I want to move it, you'll see that it's equal. It's always going to be equal. That's what the equality tab is for. Now, moving on here, you can also, as we name this one, we call this right. Another thing you can do is you can go here and you can give it, you can name the reference plane, or you can give it a different value. So, like for instance, here you see where it says weak reference. Now, weak reference plane is just, I'll give you a good quick example here. So I'll go to the datum tab, create a reference plane here. And we'll grab this reference plane and we'll call this one weak. And it is weak because, why it's saying it's weak is because the dimensions, and when you align things, it'll go directly to the dimension line. So that would be a weak reference plane. This one would basically normally be your strong reference plane. So let's just delete this out for now, which we don't really need, just showing as an example. And then here we draw another, let's add two more reference planes. One here. Let's move this up. This is just a brief video for understanding reference planes. So let's just go here and add dimension lines. And we want to make this equality again. We always like equality because it'll keep things in proportion for us in most cases, but not all cases we want this. So again, you have your reference planes. I can go here. He's always weak. I can make him strong if I like, but in this case, we want to keep him weak. Strong reference planes is we want to dimension things off, but we'll keep it weak for now. So that's basically it with reference planes. Now, I'm going to show you one other thing. If I go into a front view, and you still have these same reference planes, and they have the equality value, and they see that the name is also here. So we've reviewed reference planes, and we've done several things with reference planes. Now, we want to go to Create Datum tab. Let's have a quick look at reference lines. Now, reference lines are similar to reference planes, but reference lines, they control geometry. So now the difference between a reference line and a reference plane is not infinity. It doesn't go infinite. It goes to the value. So this value for this reference line is 5 feet 10 inches. And that's it. That's as long as it goes. And so if I'm going to use this as my origin point, I want to align that dot to that origin point. And let's say if I go here and create, parameterize this, I'll make an angle here and here. That's 45, that was good. I make this 45 degrees, and I want to make this a parameter. So I will go click here, add parameter, and we'll call this, let's say door swing, for instance, because this is how doors are actually made. We'll call this door swing parameter, and we can make it an instance or a type. In this case, let's make it an instance, and we'll click OK. I'll jump down there, but that's okay. So now what happens is we'll go here and we'll change this to, let's say, 90. Now let's do something a little more interesting. Let's go 60. I want to make sure you see it. Apply. Okay. So there you have it. There's that angle at 60 degrees. I'm going to drag this up if I can. No, there you go. Bring this up. So what happens with a reference line and a reference plane, as you can see it here. A reference line basically controls geometry, and what will happen, and later on we'll study this and we'll work on this, it basically controls things that you align it to. So if I align a shape to this reference plane, and we parameterize it, it'll control that geometry. So really that's about it. So we know what's happening with reference planes and reference lines. Okay? Anyway, hope you like this. Keep this in mind. We're moving on with families. We're going to go really deep into this. So hope you enjoy this. If you like it, you know what to do. Anyway, take care and let's move on. Bye.